Okay, I'm just gonna start strong because I'm not here to play cute with this one topic that I'm gonna talk about today. Okay? I'm gonna say it. Abortion is not murder. Period. Point blank. Okay? I don't care how many pearl clutching Christians try to scream at me in the comments. I don't care how many people try to twist the definition of murder. And I definitely don't care about anyone trying to weaponize guilt and religion on women who are just trying to live their lives. A fetus is not the same thing as a grown, breathing, living, autonomous human being, okay? A fetus is potential life, not full life, okay? And abortion is healthcare. Abortion is survival. Abortion, it's a choice, okay? And I'm gonna say it louder for the people in the back. Babes, your body, your choice, okay? That's it. End of debate. You don't get to tell another person what to do with their body just because your little worldview cannot handle the idea of autonomy, okay? You don't get to dictate someone else's life because you're scared of your own. That's it. And I know that some of y'all are gagging already. Like, I know that. And that's fine. Because here's the thing, I've reached a point in my life where I don't care about coddling people who are committed to misunderstanding me. Like, trust me, that's why I have this YouTube channel, Real and Draw by Cyberth. So if you're already clutching your Bible and typing angry paragraphs, babes, you're not even listening, okay? You're not here to understand. You are here for one thing, and that's control. And that's what this, whole abortion is murder narrative has always been about. Babes, it's control. It's control over women's bodies, control over sexuality, control over choice, control. Yeah, like, trust me. And I'm going to dissect this because I'm in the mood to, I'm just in the mood, because, guys, the same people who scream abortion is murder are the same ones who don't care about kids once they're born. They will scream about protecting fetuses, but won't lift a finger when those same kids grew up in poverty, in broken systems, in homes that can't afford them. They will protest outside clinics, but won't vote for policies that actually help mothers. They will chant about, life, but then turn around and cheer for war, cheer for guns, cheer for death penalties. So miss me with a fake morality, bitch. You don't care about life. You care about control. Okay? That's what you care. And you know what the gag is? If you don't want an abortion, then don't get one. It's that simple. Like, no one is forcing you. But the second you start screaming that people can't have the option, babes, that's when you expose yourself. Because what you're really saying is, my beliefs matter more than your autonomy. That's what you're really saying is. And babes, that's disgusting. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about this fan who asked me earlier on my live stream if abortion is murder. Okay, first of all, shout out to my fangirls who immediately were like, you need to make a whole video about this because you're right. This conversation deserves more than a 2-second clap back. But when they asked me, is abortion murder? I did not even hesitate to, say no. Absolutely not. Because language matters, okay? Words matter. Murder implies malicious intent, okay? Like, murder is, someone taking a life with cruelty. And that's not what abortion is. Abortion to me, it's healthcare. Abortion, it's also survival. Abortion is making a choice about your own body when you're the one who has to live with it, not some stranger screaming in your face about their religion. And let me be clear, because I'm not here to sugarcoat, okay? Again, I'm not here to sugarcoat. Abortion shaming. If you're one of the people who shame women, like when they abort their babies, or the fetuses inside their tummy, that's like one of the ugliest forms of misogyny we still tolerate. Not me, like most people tolerate. And I say misogyny, not debate, because that's what it is. Like, you're shaming women for taking control of their lives, you're demonizing healthcare, and you are weaponizing morality as a leash. And it's always the same story, People love to control women until it's their sister, their daughter, or maybe their mistress who needs the abortion. Then suddenly it's different, then suddenly it's complicated. Spare me, girl. Okay, so as a trans girl, let me say this too, okay? The audacity of men, especially men who will never carry a pregnancy, who will never know what it's like to have their body taken over by something they did not ask for, to sit there and dictate whether abortion is murder, that is peak clownery. Ew. Like, you don't get a seat at this table. If you don't have a uterus, you don't have a say. You can have an opinion, but sure, your opinion doesn't get to shape, laws, policies, or decisions for people whose bodies are not yours. And to the people who say, well, life is sacred. Okay, so is freedom. So is autonomy. So is dignity. Like, babes, you don't get to cherry pick which lives matter and which don't. If life is so sacred, then so is the life of the woman or the person carrying the pregnancy. If life is so sacred, then so is their right to not be forced into something that could traumatize or even kill them. Okay, and I'm gonna drop another truth bomb here. Abortion, that will never go away, ever. Whether it's illegal or legal, people will always find to end pregnancies they don't want. And the only difference is whether they do it safely or dangerously. Legal abortion saves lives. Yeah. Criminalizing it doesn't stop it. It just makes it deadly. So when you scream, abortion is murder, what you're really doing is making sure women die trying to save themselves. And that's on your hands, not theirs. Yeah. And honestly, I'm so over people trying to, play God in this conversation. They say life begins at conception according to who? Your pastor? Your Facebook meme? Like, science does not even agree on one definition. So stop acting like your personal belief is the universal truth, because it's not. And if your belief is that life begins at conception, then fine, live by that. But do not impose it on everyone else, because, babes, that's not morality. That's tyranny. Do you understand that? Like, and also the obsession with abortion has never really been about life. Life, it's about power. And if you look closely, it's obvious. Like, babes, think about it. If it was really about, protecting babies, then why don't the same people fighting abortion put the same energy into childcare, paid maternity leave, free healthcare, or even affordable birth control, But they don't, because their agenda is not life. Their agenda is control, specifically control over women and anyone with a uterus. And I'm gonna be honest, okay? Religion, it plays a massive role in this. Like, personally, me, I grew up in a Christian washed environment. I'm agnostic now, by the way. And let me tell you, guilt is their favorite weapon. Yeah, they frame abortion as murder not because that's scientifically true, but because shame is the easiest way to control people. They want women to feel sinful for exercising choice. Like, they want women to feel like they're damned for wanting control over their own futures. And what makes me roll my eyes is that half these people have not opened their Bibles in years. Like, trust me, babes, they cherry pick verses that justify their agenda. But when it comes to feeding the poor, practicing compassion, or minding their own damn business, babe, silence. They're silent. And also, this is also cultural. Like, in so many societies, women are raised to believe that their worth is tied to motherhood, that their ultimate goal is to be a wife and mother. Like, and abortion, it disrupts that narrative. Abortion says, I don't owe my body to reproduction. Like, I don't owe my future to a man. I don't owe anyone an explanation for why I choose myself. And that's threatening, because when women reclaim their bodies, the entire system of control trembles. Like, trust me. And I'm gonna clock the hypocrisy even further. Some of the loudest anti-abortion voices, men. Men who will never experience pregnancy. Men who can literally walk away after sex while women carry all the weight. Yeah. Men who scream about life being sacred but don't pay child support. Yeah. Men who will slut shame a woman for getting pregnant and then shame her again if she chooses abortion. It's always women who lose. And that's the point. Okay, and here's something else people don't want to admit. Abortion rights are not just about pregnancy. Like, they're about freedom. But because if you can control someone's body, you can control their entire life. And when you strip away the right to choose, you're not just forcing birth. You're forcing poverty, you're forcing trauma and stagnancy. You're trapping people in lives they did not choose because it benefits a system that feeds off their compliance. And that's why I will always defend abortion as a right, because it's not just about babies. It's about power, okay? Now, let me tie in my perspective as a trans girl. Because people love to act like abortion is only a cis women issue. But, babes, no. It's a human rights issue. Listen to that. It's a human rights issue. It's an autonomy issue. It's a survival issue. And as someone who knows what it feels like to have society constantly trying to police my body, my choices, my identity, I can tell you this. No one has the right to dictate what another person does with their body. Period, point blank. I live that truth every single day. So, when I see people trying to legislate abortion away, like, babes, it feels all too familiar. It's the same system that wants to control me. It's just dressed in, different words. Yeah. And what's even funnier is that how people act like banning abortion will make it disappear. Like, babes, abortion has existed since the beginning of time. Women have always found ways to end pregnancies they did not want, whether safe or unsafe. Yeah. Criminalizing abortion does not erase it. Like, trust me, it just makes it deadly. So when politicians, when they try to fight to ban abortion, they're not saving lives. They're endangering them. They're ensuring that, poor women, marginalized women, women without access will pay with their lives. And that's what makes me furious, because these lawmakers, they know it. They know abortion bans don't stop abortions. They just stop safe abortions, and they do not care, because again, this is not about life. It's about control. Yeah, and let me also address this myth. People should just not have sex if they don't want kids. Like, that's the dumbest take I've ever heard. People are going to have sex, period, point blank. That's human nature, babes. We get horny. And if you're sitting here thinking the answer to abortion is abstinence, girl, you're living in fantasy land. Adults have sex, teens have sex. Married people, single people, everyone. And pretending otherwise is not only naive, it's dangerous. If you really cared about reducing abortions, you'd push for comprehensive sex education, affordable birth control, and healthcare access. But the people screaming abortion is murder fight against all of those things too. So what does that tell you? Again, it's not about life, it's about control. I'm trying to make you understand, okay? And I'm going to be savage here for a second. So the people who scream, "Don't kill the baby," are often the same ones who won't adopt, won't foster, and won't support. They will shame a woman for getting an abortion, but if she keeps the baby and struggles as a single mom, they will shame her for that too. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's how you know it's not about morality. It's literally just keeping women trapped no matter what choice they make. Here's where I'll pivot back to the audience, because I know my girls need this slap. Yeah, I know that y'all need this. Stop letting people gaslight you into thinking abortion makes you evil, because it does not, okay? Choosing yourself, your future, your peace, it does not make you evil. It makes you human. It makes you brave. And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, remember, their morality is not universal, okay? Their shame is not your inheritance. Do you understand that? And here's the thing. When we talk about abortion, we're not really just talking about abortion, We're talking about what it means to live freely, to say, this is my life, this is my body. I don't owe you an explanation. And babes, that terrifies people because the second you choose yourself, the second you say no to being controlled, you become dangerous. Not in the sense of, harming others, but in the sense that you can no longer be manipulated. And that's why people hate abortion. Not because it's murder, but because, again, it's power and control. It's about power and control, And power and control scares the insecure. Let's be real, okay? I'm gonna be real. People will always attack what they don't understand, okay? The girls who choose abortion, they're not weak. They're not monsters. They're not evil. They're women who know their worth enough to say, I get to choose my timeline. Yeah, and that's the real threat because once a woman realizes she's in control of her own body, the entire patriarchal foundation crumbles. Okay, and now I'm going to be brutal because some of y'all need this slap. Again, some of y'all need this slap if you're against abortion, but you've never adopted, never volunteered at a shelter, never helped a struggling mom, never donated to childcare programs. You need to shut the fuck up. Yeah, shut it, bitch. You don't actually care about life. You care about control. You care about moral superiority. You care about being seen as right. And honestly, that's pathetic. And you know what? For the religious ones out there, listen. If your God is so fragile that he needs you to bully women into giving birth, then maybe your God is fake. A God worth worshipping would want compassion, choice, dignity, not coercion and punishment. So stop hiding your control issues behind a Bible that you barely even read. Okay? Now to my girls listening, here's what you need to know, okay? Abortion is not the end of your story. It's not the stain on your soul. It's not a stain on your soul. Like, trust me. It's not the scarlet letter society tries to pin on you. It's a decision. That's it. Just like choosing where to live, what career to pursue, who to love, when to leave, it's just literally one of many decisions that shape your life. And you don't owe anyone guilt for it. Trust me, babes. I'll tell you, and also I'm gonna tell you why this matters so much. Because life is short. Life is literally so short. It's too short to spend it shackled by other people's opinions. Too short to, waste explaining yourself, too committed to misunderstanding you. And too short to live as a prisoner in your own body. If you're going to survive this world, you need to reclaim your choices. Every single one of them. And abortion is just one example of that fight. Now let's flip this. I'm gonna flip this because this is not just about abortion, okay? This is about the kind of life the kind of life you're going to, live. Like, are you going to keep letting people dictate who you are? Are you going to keep letting society shame you for not fitting their mold? Or are you going to finally say, this is my body, this is my life, I will live the way I want? Because at the end of the day, no one else is paying your bills. No one else is living your pain. No one else is caring in your dreams. So why the fuck would you give them the control of your choices? And I'm going to be blunt. The people who hate you, they will never stop hating you. That's a newsflash. The people who judge you, they will never stop judging you. And the people who want to control you, they will never stop trying. Trust me. But guess what? They don't matter. They don't get a vote. They don't get a seat at your table. And the moment you realize that, babes, you're free. You're free. And yes, I'm aware. This episode will piss people off. I know that. It's going to trigger the haters. It's going to make people type essays in comments about how life begins at conception. And honestly, good. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Because every hater in my comment is another sign that I'm telling the truth. And every angry share, every rage view, every negative comment, babes, that's engagement. That's algorithm fuel. That's money. So thanks, haters. Keep typing, keep crying. I'll be catching your outrage while living free. Like, yeah. And to my real ones, the ones who listen, because, they know I'll always keep it raw. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Your body's yours, okay? Your choices are yours. Your life is yours. And if someone doesn't like it, let them choke on their own judgment. You're not here to be palatable. You're not here to perform purity. You're not here to carry the weight of someone else's comfort. You're here to live loudly, boldly, unapologetically. So, if you ever find yourself in a position where you have to make a choice, whether it's abortion, leaving a toxic relationship, quitting a job, moving to a new city, or simply saying no, remember this: the bravest thing you can do is choose yourself. Okay? The world will hate you for it, but if your soul will thank you. If your soul will thank you for it,